might be surprised to hear this, but some of the most effective movements for shrinking dangerous belly fat can be done while sitting in a chair. And the best part is that seniors over 60 can do them safely, even with stiffness or limited mobility. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 simple chair exercises to shrink visceral fat with no gym needed. My name is Dr. Chen, and welcome to Wellness Strong, where we can be healthy together. Tip 1. Wake up your core. Tip number 1 is something I call wake up your core, and it is the foundation for everything else we are about to do. This is where we gently switch on the deep abdominal muscles, the ones that wrap around your midsection like a natural internal belt. Most people over 60 have these muscles in sleep mode because we spend so much time sitting, resting, or avoiding movements that feel uncomfortable. When these muscles turn off, the belly feels heavier, posture gets weaker, and visceral fat has an easier time building up. But the beautiful thing is that it does not take much to wake them right back up. So here is what we are going to do. Sit tall in your chair with your feet flat on the floor. Make sure the chair does not roll or slide. Place your hands on your lower belly. Now, without forcing anything, gently tilt your pelvis forward and backward. Think of it like slowly rolling your hips under you, then gently arching them away. These movements should be very small, very smooth, and very calm. You are not trying to do a big crunch or squeeze. All you are doing is letting the belly muscles turn on and off like a dimmer switch. If you feel your lower belly gently pulling inward as you tilt, you are doing it perfectly. Now let me explain why this matters. There is a deep muscle called the transverse abdominis. Do not worry about the name. Think of it as your built-in corset. When this muscle wakes up, it naturally holds the belly tighter and supports the organs inside your abdomen. Seniors who practice this exercise often tell me they feel lighter in their waist within a few days. It is not magic. It is simply your body reconnecting to muscles that have been waiting to work again. If you have ever struggled with lower back aches or felt like your posture collapses when you sit for too long, this movement is especially important for you. When the core muscles are asleep, your lower back takes on too much work. That leads to tension, soreness, and that tired spine feeling so many older adults describe to me. Pelvic tilts help shift that work back to the core, where it belongs. Let me share a quick story. One of my patients, a 74-year-old grandmother named Helen, started doing this exact exercise every morning while waiting for her coffee to brew. She told me she could barely move her lower back at first, but after a week, she said she felt more awake in her belly. After a month, her posture improved so much that her daughter asked if she was doing yoga. She wasn't. She was just waking up her core for 2 minutes a day. Little movements can create big changes. As you continue the pelvic tilts, you might notice your breathing changing. That is good. When your core activates, your lungs actually have more freedom to expand. Visceral fat affects breathing because it pushes upward against the diaphragm. So when you train the core to tighten and support the belly, it reduces that pressure and helps you breathe deeper. Here is what I want you to remember. This exercise is not about strength. It is about connection. It is about reminding your brain where your core is and inviting those muscles back into the conversation. You do not need to squeeze hard or move fast. In fact, slowing down helps the nervous system learn the movement better. Do this for 30 seconds at a time. Rest, then repeat. Even 2 or 3 rounds a day will make a difference. And once you master this gentle activation, the next movements we do will work far more effectively. Think of this as the ignition switch before the engine starts. Now that your core is awake, we can move into something that helps loosen the tightness around the waist, something that frees up space for the belly to flatten naturally. Tip 2. Unstick the tight midsection. Tip number 2 is something I call unstick the tight midsection, and it focuses on loosening the stiff muscles along the sides of your waist and ribs. Most seniors do not realize how much tightness develops around the midsection as the years go by. When the sides of the torso get tight, it squeezes the organs, restricts breathing, and makes the belly feel larger and heavier. That tightness also slows down metabolism because your body cannot move or expand the way it needs to. This exercise gently opens the rib cage, stretches the waist, and creates space for better breathing and better fat burning. Let's begin by getting into the right position. Sit near the edge of your chair with your feet firmly on the floor. Keep your back straight but relaxed. Rest your hands on your thighs to start. Take a slow breath in through your nose, and as you breathe out, allow your shoulders to soften. This is your starting point. Now here is the exercise. Slowly slide your right hand down the side of your right leg, just a few inches, while your left arm lifts gently toward the ceiling. You do not need to reach high. You do not need to bend far. The goal is not a big dramatic stretch. The goal is a gentle lengthening of the left side of your body. Hold this position for a few seconds, breathing softly, then return to center. Now switch sides. Slide your left hand down your left leg while your right arm raises up. Again, hold for a few seconds and come back to the middle. This simple side-bending motion loosens the waist muscles that tend to lock up with age. Let me tell you why this matters so much. When the muscles around your ribs and waist become stiff, the diaphragm, your breathing muscle, has trouble moving the way it should. And when the diaphragm cannot move, your lungs cannot expand fully. That leads to shallow breathing, lower oxygen levels, and a slower metabolism. Many people do not know this, but improving your breathing is one of the most effective ways to start burning visceral fat. Better breathing means better oxygen. Better oxygen means better energy. And better energy makes it easier for your body to release stored fat. This exercise also helps your spine. A flexible spine allows your core muscles to activate more effectively. Think of your rib cage like a cage that has gotten rusty over time. We are gently oiling the hinges and giving your body space to move again. I once worked with an older gentleman named Robert, who was in his early 80s. He had a hard time twisting or bending because his waist felt locked, as he described it. After doing this side bend exercise every morning for a couple of weeks, he came into my office smiling. He told me he could reach the top shelf in his kitchen again without feeling like something would pinch in his side. That is what happens when you free the rib cage. Your whole upper body feels lighter and more open. As you continue this exercise, focus on slow breathing. Inhale as you lift your arm and prepare to bend. Exhale gently as you lean to the side. If lifting your arm feels uncomfortable, you can simply place your hand behind your head instead. The movement will still be effective, and if bending feels difficult, reduce the range. Even a very small tilt activates and stretches the correct muscles. Try to repeat this motion 5 to 8 times on each side. There should be no sharp pain, only a mild stretch or a feeling of gentle release. Over time, you may notice you can bend a little farther without strain. That is a sign your midsection is loosening, your breathing is improving, and your core is preparing to burn more fat. Once your waist and ribs have opened up, we're ready for the next step. Now we can activate the twisting muscles that help tighten the belly from the sides inward. Tip 3. The seated twist burn. Tip number 3 is something I call the seated twist burn, and this one is especially powerful for reducing visceral fat because it targets the deep core muscles along the sides of your waist. These muscles, called the obliques, help tighten the belly from the outside in, but even more importantly, twisting movements gently stimulate the organs inside your abdomen that includes your intestines, your stomach, and even your liver. When these areas get a little movement, digestion improves, bloating decreases, and the belly begins to feel lighter and smaller. This is one of the safest and most effective twisting exercises you can do while seated. Let's begin with the setup. Sit tall in your chair with your feet flat on the ground. Make sure the chair is sturdy and not leaning back. Place your hands on your belly for a moment and take a slow breath in. Feel the air fill your chest and your stomach. Then breathe out softly. This helps prepare your body and calm your nervous system before we start. Now place your hands gently on your shoulders, or if that feels uncomfortable, simply rest them on your lap. Slowly begin turning your torso to the right. Move from your waist, not from your neck. Imagine your belly button turning toward the right side of the room. Pause for 2 or 3 seconds, then gently return to the center. Now twist to the left using the same slow, controlled motion. You do not need a big twist. Even a small rotation activates the abdominal muscles and stimulates the internal organs. You might wonder why twisting helps shrink visceral fat. The explanation is surprisingly simple. Twisting helps massage the organs and improve circulation inside the belly area. When blood flow improves, your body can process food better, break down waste more efficiently, and reduce inflammation in the abdomen. Better digestion means less bloating, less discomfort, and less pressure on the organs. And when the deep abdominal muscles engage, your body begins to create a tighter, more supportive midsection. Let me share a story from one of my patients, a 68-year-old woman named Marlene. She struggled with chronic bloating and said her belly always felt full, even when she didn't eat much. We started with this gentle seated twist every day after breakfast. 2 weeks later, she told me she felt lighter and less swollen through her waist. Her digestion improved and she even noticed her posture getting better because her core muscles were waking up. Twisting does far more than people expect. As you practice the seated twist, remember to breathe. Inhale when you prepare to rotate. Exhale slowly as you twist to the side. Breathing out helps your muscles relax so you can turn more comfortably. If your back feels stiff, shorten the range. If your shoulders feel tense, keep your hands on your lap instead of lifting them. This exercise is meant to be gentle and controlled, not forceful. Try repeating the twist 8 to 10 times on each side. Move slowly. The slower you twist, the more your core muscles have to work. You should feel a warm, gentle activation along your waist. That warmth is your body engaging the deep muscles that help flatten the abdomen and burn visceral fat over time. A helpful tip is to imagine your spine as the center of a tall tree trunk. When you twist, the trunk rotates gently, but it does not bend or collapse. Stay tall, lift your chest slightly, and keep your shoulders relaxed. This protects your back and ensures the movement targets the right muscles. Once you become comfortable with this exercise, you might find your torso feels more mobile, your waist feels looser, and your belly feels less heavy. Twisting prepares your core for more active movements that raise your heart rate safely, which is our next step in shrinking visceral fat. Tip 4. Sit, lift, and burn. Tip number 4 is something I call sit, lift, and burn. And this is where we safely raise the heart rate just enough to help your body start burning more calories and improving circulation. Many seniors think they need to walk fast, jog, or use gym machines to burn fat, but that is not true at all. A simple seated marching movement can activate the entire midsection, strengthen the lower belly, and gently boost your metabolism without putting pressure on your joints or balance. This is one of the simplest and most effective ways to burn visceral fat while staying supported in your chair. Let's set up your position. Sit tall and steady. Ideally near the front of the chair so your feet are flat and your core is slightly engaged. Keep your shoulders relaxed and your chest lifted. Let your hands rest on your thighs. Or if you prefer, hold the sides of the chair for extra support. Take a slow breath in and exhale softly. You are preparing your body just like you would before a gentle walk. Here is how to do the exercise. Lift your right knee up toward your chest only as high as it feels comfortable, then lower it back down. Now lift your left knee the same way. Think of it as a slow, controlled march while seated. You do not need to move fast. You do not need to lift high. Even lifting your foot just a few inches off the ground wakes up the deep lower abdominal muscles, the hip flexors, and the stabilizing muscles that help hold your spine in place. As you continue marching, you will feel your belly tighten naturally. That is your core doing its job. And if you do this for 30 seconds or more, you may notice your breathing deepen and your body starting to warm up. That gentle warmth is your metabolism increasing. This is important because visceral fat is influenced by metabolic activity. When the heart rate rises even slightly, your body becomes more efficient at using stored fat for energy. Let me share a story that always makes me smile. One of my patients, a 76-year-old retired mechanic named Victor, struggled with balance issues and knee pain. Walking long distances was difficult and he often felt discouraged. I showed him this seated marching exercise and he committed to doing it every evening while watching his favorite television shows. After a month, he told me he could lift his knees higher, breathe easier, and his pants felt looser around the waist. All he did was march in place from a chair. Nothing fancy, just consistency. Now let's talk about form. Keep your back steady and avoid leaning backward as you lift your knees. If you feel yourself tipping, try holding the seat for extra support. Move slowly enough that you feel the muscles working with each lift. You can even add a gentle squeeze of your lower belly as your knee rises. This small addition helps strengthen the transverse abdominis, the deep core muscle that supports the organs and tightens the waist. If knee lifting feels difficult, you can do a modified version. Slide one foot forward, tap the heel on the ground, and bring it back. Then switch sides. This still activates your core and raises your heart rate with less strain. Aim for 30 to 45 seconds of marching, then rest for a moment. Repeat 2 or 3 rounds depending on your comfort level. Over time, your endurance will improve. You might even notice your posture getting stronger because this movement builds the stabilizing muscles of the trunk. This exercise is especially valuable for insulin sensitivity, which is how well your body handles sugar. Seniors with poor insulin sensitivity often store more visceral fat. Seated marching helps improve this, which means your body becomes better at releasing stored fat over time. After a week or 2 of practicing sit, lift, and burn, many seniors feel more energetic, less stiff, and more confident in their movement. Your core has been warmed, your circulation improved, and your metabolism boosted. Now your body is ready for our final move, one that uses the upper and lower body together for a bigger fat-burning effect. Tip 5. The chair power finish. Tip number 5 is something I call the chair power finish, and this is the perfect way to end your routine because it brings the upper and lower body together into one smooth, powerful motion. This combination movement activates more muscles at once, which gives your metabolism a gentle boost without needing to stand, balance, or push your joints too far. When we talk about shrinking visceral fat, full body movements, done safely, are incredibly effective. And the beauty of this exercise is that you can do it at any age. I have taught it to people in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and even 90s. Everyone can benefit from it. Let's begin with the setup. Sit tall and steady in your chair. Make sure your back is straight but not rigid, and keep your shoulders relaxed. Place your feet flat on the floor, about hip width apart. Take a slow, easy breath and let your body settle. This starting posture helps your core engage automatically, which means you are already activating the muscles that support your belly. Now let's go through the movement. Start by extending your right leg forward, straightening it out as far as feels comfortable. Your heel can rest lightly on the ground, or you can lift it an inch or 2 if your strength allows. At the same moment, raise your left arm gently toward the ceiling or diagonally in front of you. You are creating a long line from your extended leg to your lifted arm. Hold it for a second, then bring everything back in. Now switch sides. Extend your left leg while lifting your right arm. Hold briefly, then return to the center. What you are doing here is engaging the core, the hips, the thighs, the shoulders, and even the upper back. You are also asking your body to coordinate movement across both sides of the body, which is wonderful for brain health. Many seniors do not realize that cross-body movements like this help improve cognitive function, balance, and body awareness. And the slow, controlled lifting of the arms gives your heart rate just the right amount of elevation to encourage fat burning without strain. Let me explain why this works so well for shrinking visceral fat. When you extend your leg, you activate the lower abdominal muscles and hip flexors. These muscles sit close to the area where visceral fat builds up. When you lift your arm, you stretch the rib cage and improve the motion of the diaphragm. A healthier diaphragm means better breathing and better oxygen flow. And when you use the upper and lower body together, you increase overall calorie burn and improve circulation, which helps your body release stored fat over time. I once worked with a 72-year-old man named Ernesto who used this exact exercise as his daily finisher. He had struggled with stiffness and a heavy, tight feeling in his abdomen for years. Standing exercises often hurt his knees, so we focused entirely on chair-based movements. After a few weeks of practicing the chair power finish every morning, he said he felt longer and more open. His waist measurements began to drop, and he told me he felt stronger lifting groceries and getting out of bed. It is incredible what happens when you move more muscles with one simple motion. As you perform this exercise, focus on slow, steady breathing. Inhale when you prepare to lift. Exhale as you extend your leg and raise your arm. Breathing out helps your core tighten naturally. And if raising your arm overhead feels difficult, you can keep it at shoulder height or even lower. The movement stays effective as long as the arm is lifting away from the body. Aim for 10 to 12 repetitions on each side. Take your time. The slower you move, the more your muscles have to work. You should feel gentle engagement in your belly, your thighs, and your shoulders. No pain, no forcing, just controlled strength. This final exercise brings everything together. Your core is activated, your waist is loosened, your torso is warmed, your heart rate is gently elevated. This is the point where your body starts working with you, not against you. Now that you've completed all 5 movements, you have a safe, powerful, and effective chair routine that helps shrink visceral fat with no gym, no equipment, and no stress. If you're ready for the closing section, just let me know. Have a healthy body, and I'll see you in the next video.